Famous celebrity rapper Cardi B is pissed off and stressed out after her tenants haven't paid her rent for the last 9 months. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's going over the trials and tribulations of being a landlord. Okay, we all experience this at some point in time, but it's interesting when I read about celebrities who are also going through this, people who are exponentially wealthier than I am, and they are operating in a manner that shows me that they're just small landlords just like me. And that it's relatable in a one manner, but you have to question, well, why exactly, if your main business is the entertainment industry or whatever, why are you self-managing these properties? Why are you so worried about getting your rent payment on time? Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe you need to turn this thing over to a property manager and let them handle the stress for you. That's what I did. And I'm not even a big landlord, or very wealthy like this person here in this article. But my personal belief is that if you are doing something that takes up the majority of your time, be it a full-time job or you have a family that you have to take care of, and you just don't have the time to work on the day-to-day operations of your landlord business, well, you need to either step back by turning your properties over to a property manager, or become 100% passive investor. Okay, which means that someone else has, they're the principal and you're just along for the ride essentially. Or maybe you need to just get out of real estate altogether, because yeah, real estate is a great investment, but it might be too much stress for you, and it must be too much for her because she's the one who's sitting there talking about it. Okay, if it is bothering you that much, you need to get that off of your plate. You need to get it off your plate and then focus on where you make your real money. And in her case, that's by making music. That's by all of her entertainment endeavors. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. So what do you think of a person who is, like super wealthy, who is doing the day-to-day management of property management of a real estate portfolio, when that isn't where they make their primary money? Now, for someone like me, it is, I mean, I'm not going to say, like, I'm not wealthy like this lady is, right? But I work a full-time law enforcement job. I have, my family responsibilities, etc. And I'm making YouTube videos on top of that. So I imagine if I had to do all of the self-management stuff that I was doing before, I was overwhelmed. I was absolutely overwhelmed. That's exactly why I turned all the properties over to property management, because I just did not have the time, and I was doing a really, really crappy job at it. Okay. Things were falling behind, and I just could not keep up. There was just too much on my plate at once. And the stress of having to deal with it. Now, if you own one house or two houses, that's a completely different story, right? But I have, 16 units. So, obviously that required a tad bit more management than just one or two houses. Okay, so I understand where she's coming from, and I really think that she needs to consider other options. So anyway, let me get into the article and tell you what it says. This article is coming from hiphopdx.com, and it says, Cardi B stressed out by her tenants not paying rent. I don't want properties as a gift. And obviously this artist, she uses pretty colorful language. I don't like to cuss in my videos, so I will, you'll get the gist of what she's trying to say as I go through it. So let's get into it. Cardi B's musical success has afforded her the privilege of building a property portfolio, but according to the Bronx superstar, being a landlord isn't all it's cracked up to be. During a recent Instagram Live, the WAP hitmaker opened up about the stress that she and husband Offset are dealing with, thanks to some of their tenants falling behind on their rent. We have tenants that haven't even paid effing rent for like 9 months, Cardi B vented. 9 months. And sometimes we be so busy, and our house managers, they'll be so busy that we like, you know what? Don't even effing take them to court because we just so effing tired. Like, we don't even have time for that because we be doing so much S. So, right there, I guess she does have property management, right? But, even with property management, yeah, you're still going to be handling certain aspects, right? So, obviously they call me for repairs over a certain amount. They call me whenever I have a tenant who's not paying rent, so that, telling me, what's going on, or they call or email, or sometimes send text messages saying, hey, this is what's going on. These people haven't paid rent in a while. We're going to be filing an eviction against them, just to keep you informed about what's happening, right? And so I'm assuming that her property manager is doing the same, and that's why she's all stressed out. But I'm like, come on, this isn't your primary business. This isn't where you make the most of your money. Now, I admit it isn't where I make, real estate isn't where I make most of my money either. That comes from my full time job. However, right, if I get to the point where I am getting stressed out and worried about it like that, right? And I'm somebody as wealthy as Cardi B. I mean, it would take a huge, huge portfolio probably to make more income than her entertainment brings in. So, I mean, I understand the reasoning behind her doing it, right? Like, entertainment, it is a short career. It is a very short career. And if you want to hold on to your wealth long term, well, you got to have assets. That's the truth. Okay. You got to have assets. But, the way I see it is that, maybe it would be better for her to be in a much, much more passive role versus actually being the primary owner, having the property manager contact you for all these different tenant issues, etc. Okay, or maybe you need your assistant or someone else to take care of these things for you. Okay, but you managing it yourself. I mean, you're not Ben Mala. Ben Mala made his money off of real estate. So that's what when he's making the big money decisions with real estate, he's used to that stress. He made his money off of real estate. That's his primary money maker. And that's the way, he goes about doing things, right? But it's not the case for her and Offset at all, right? Now, it is what it is, but come on, think of a better way to operate. There's still ways to invest in real estate without being the principal. If you were, for example, an investor in a syndication or a real estate investment fund where you are a passive investor, you can still get all the benefits, but not have to deal with the headaches. She continued, people be like, oh, get property, get property, get property. Please, babe. Oh, let's not even talk about the Dominican Republic Airbnb that this inn bought me. Always something. Please, I don't want properties as a gift. Cardi B added that she and Offset are currently looking to buy a house either in Los Angeles or Miami because they're tired of renting, but that's no walk in the park either. So, yeah, she apparently has an Airbnb in the Dominican Republic, right? And that's another nightmare in itself. Obviously, Airbnb is much more management intensive than like just owning a long-term rental. Not to mention the fact that it's in a foreign country, and yeah, I mean, it is going to have its issues, okay? But I think the main thing for them is that you've got a huge amount of income coming in, huge amount of income, millions of dollars per year, probably net worth 50 million plus. Okay, so you're in the top point 0.01% of all income earners and top 0.01% of all wealthy people, right? Part of what they call the ultra rich, and you being hands on with this just it's not a good idea. But let me just finish up and see what this article how they finish it. Right now, one of the biggest things that be stressing us out is our property, she admitted, whether it's home properties or investment properties. No, I love me a effing Birkin. The Dominican Republic Airbnb that Cardi B mentioned was gifted to her by Offset in October 2021 for her 29th birthday. The former Migos rapper unveiled the surprise at his wife's star-studded party in LA, where he got on the mic and played a video presentation of the mansion in her family's homeland, which is surrounded by palm trees and a rooftop pool. The Bodak yellow rapper later took to Instagram to express her gratitude for Offset's thoughtful gesture. For a hot minute now, I've been telling Seth that I really want to invest in short term home rental properties in the DR and other Caribbean countries, since people vacation all year round in those locations, she wrote. And yeah, she just basically figured out that, hey, it's more of a headache than it's worth. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a great gift. It's great that you got the money to be able to buy such a thing, but more of a headache than it was worth. And, here's my suggestion to her. Okay. Sell these properties, sell them. Okay. It's just not worth it. There's better investments. There's better ways to, preserve your wealth long term. Like I said, I mentioned syndications. I mentioned real estate investment funds. There's obviously dividend investing, et cetera. I'm sure you have a financial manager, and your financial manager is probably telling you the same stuff. Like, hey, this hands-on real estate investment stuff, just not worth it. Okay.